And this is Joan, your independent Princess House consultant, coming to you from my healthy cooking stage for another fabulous Friday. I hope everybody is wanting to find out about the health benefits of my fabulous Friday dish for today. I am doing air fryer Brussels sprouts, and I want to share with you all the health reasons as to why you want to feed your family Brussels sprouts. But before I share the health benefits of air fried Brussels sprouts or Brussels sprouts in general, I want to talk to you a little bit about how I started my recipe, because part of it has already been prepared for you. First of all, I took fresh Brussels sprouts, cut them in half, and one of the keys to this recipe, I believe, is putting them in water to soak so they get built-in moisture. Now, why is that important? Because when you put your Brussels sprouts in the air fryer, it is more of a rapid heating process than when you put them on a baking sheet and put them into the oven. So to ensure that you don't overcook or crisp out completely your Brussels sprouts, soak them in water for maybe half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever you can spare. Then you want to make sure you eliminate all the excess water, and then you're going to place them in your air fryer. Now, I have already completely pre-cooked my Brussels sprouts to the point where I can pick up the rest of the recipe. When you put your fresh Brussels sprouts in your air fryer, you want to sprinkle them with salt. And you can use sea salt if you'd like, and I recommend using sea salt. So you basically put your Brussels sprouts in the air fryer, sprinkle them with salt, and again, that's to taste. And then you want to mist your extra virgin olive oil over your Brussels sprouts. The beauty of using our Pro-7 air fryer is that we have programs set. So when you put it in the air fryer, look for the emblem that is for roasting vegetables, and it has a carrot. So what you do is just place your finger on that and it will start at the right temperature. That temperature, by the way, is 400 degrees. The time that it's set for is 15 minutes. But let me tell you about that 15 minutes. You do not want to put your Brussels sprouts in, set the auto timer for 15 minutes, and walk away. What you want to do is, throughout the process of your Brussels sprouts roasting in your air fryer, check them about every 4 to 6 minutes. And when you check them every 4 to 6 minutes, you simply take the air fryer basket and just kind of shuffle your Brussels sprouts around. Or you can take a utensil and move them around. That way, they're not going to stay in one position to once again overcook, because it's so easy to overcook your Brussels sprouts in the air fryer if you're not careful. So meanwhile, I've already gotten my Brussels sprouts to a point where it's now going to be time for me to put my sauce that is going to be tossed around with the Brussels sprouts. But before I finish the sauce, and I'm going to start, I've already started my sauce and it is almost to completion. And what I've done so far is put balsamic vinegar in my small spouted saucepan, and it is beginning to develop a syrupy form. And basically I'm eliminating the condensation, or I should say the moisture of the balsamic vinegar to the point where it's becoming almost a syrupy mix. That's going to keep happening while I finish off my Brussels sprouts. So now that they're almost done, the next thing that I am going to do is I'm going to sprinkle slithers of fresh garlic over my Brussels sprouts. Now what you're wanting to do is put your garlic in with the Brussels sprouts, and you want that garlic to roast. So it's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes for the garlic to roast, and it's going to give a little extra flavor to those Brussels sprouts. I'm going to turn that on in just a second, but I'm going to move back over here to talk to you a little bit about the syrup that we're making, that we're going to toss the Brussels sprouts in. Once again, I've put my balsamic vinaigrette in, and it is forming a syrup. It's really just about done, and I'm going to give it just a few more minutes. And when you are forming your syrup for your Brussels sprouts, do not do it on a very high temperature, because otherwise it will burn. So just slowly allow it to form a syrup. And what I've done is I've put in a half a cup of balsamic vinegar. Now a lot of you may think that it's going to be too tart, but what actually happens is as the balsamic vinegar forms a syrup, a lot of that tartness that normally is in the balsamic vinaigrette will disappear. Now I'm going to raise it for just a couple of notches, or just one notch. If you have one of our wonderful induction units, I am on level 2. I began on level 1, which is low, and now I'm on level 2. My syrup from the balsamic vinegar is just about done. So I can see it forming, and I'm about to turn it off. Once again, when you're forming your syrup, do not put it on a high temperature. Just slowly let the syrup form from your balsamic vinegar. Mine is complete. Okay, now what I'm about to do is add the rest of the ingredients. But before I add the rest of the ingredients, I'm now going to let my air fryer complete the process with my fresh garlic. So again, I am going to press the program on our Pro-7 air fryer, which is for roasted vegetables. Pressing my carrot, that's the symbol for roasted vegetables. I'm going to turn the time down because I only want it to cook for about 4 minutes. And now I'm starting it. It's just that simple. While my garlic is roasting with the rest of my Brussels sprouts, I'm now going to make my sauce. So I'm pouring in, and this is one of our Fantasia Fresh. You can see it right here. I'm pouring from my mini spouted saucepan my syrupy mix that has been formed from the balsamic vinaigrette. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fold in extra virgin olive oil, and I'm using a small whisk because I'm going to whisk all of these ingredients together. Then I have fresh lime juice and soy sauce. And I'm basically whisking this together because this is what I'm going to use when I pull my completely roasted garlic and Brussels sprouts out of the air fryer. This is going to be drizzled over them, and I will mix it, and that will complete my entire Brussels sprout dinner, or I should say side dish. This is actually Brussels sprouts with garlic, balsamic and soy. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but I've created my little sauce and it's whisked up very nicely. Now while I wait for those last 3 minutes for the roasting of my Brussels sprouts and garlic, I'm going to tell you why you may want to put this recipe or any recipe that you might find for Brussels sprouts in your diet. Brussels sprouts are high in nutrients. They're also rich in antioxidants. And by the way, antioxidants are what helps lower your risk of chronic disease. They also help prevent against cancer. Then they're also high in fiber. Now this is something to really pay attention to. A half cup of cooked Brussels sprouts, yes, I said a half cup of cooked Brussels sprouts, is 2 grams of fiber, and that's 8% of your daily fiber needs. Another good reason to add Brussels sprouts to your diet. They're also rich in vitamin K. Now some people can't consume vegetables that have vitamin K, and if you're a person like that, then you would want to stay away from, of course, Brussels sprouts. But most people do need to have vitamin K because vitamin K is what helps with the formation of clots in your blood, or blood clots, I should say, to stop bleeding. So you really do want to have vitamin K in your diet. Another reason, and especially for someone like me who is aging, is that vitamin K helps you with preventing osteoporosis because vitamin K helps you with your bone growth. So another reason, if you are, as I call myself, a senior citizen, another reason to put vitamin K in your diet. Now, in addition to all that, another thing that's really close to my heart is that Brussels sprouts also help maintain a healthy blood sugar level. And as a person who has to watch my sugar levels, I definitely need Brussels sprouts in my diet. And then lastly, all of us have a need to reduce inflammation. And again, for those of us who are aging, inflammation, which results in arthritis and all those things in our body, is something we want to prevent. So Brussels sprouts, again, is one of those vegetables we need to consume to help us fight off inflammation. So now that I've shared all of that with you, my garlic has roasted. Yes, it has. Oh, and it's looking great. Now, let me share what I'm about to do. I am going to take my Brussels sprouts that have roasted along with my garlic out of my air fryer basket. I can just take it right out. And what's great about this recipe, you have little crisp pieces of not only Brussels sprout leaves, but also the garlic. And it may look to the naked eye like they're burned pieces, but it really isn't. They're just little crisp pieces of Brussels sprouts. Then I've got my dressing that we made earlier, and I'm going to drizzle it across my Brussels sprouts, just like that. And what I like to do, once I've drizzled it, I like to actually mix it up with my Brussels sprouts so that all pieces of the Brussels sprouts are roasted. And I'm going to come around and show everybody how beautiful this looks and how delicious it would be. And once again, don't worry about the fact that we use balsamic vinegar, because the tartness of that vinegar has been taken away by creating the syrup and also the other ingredients we added. That's my completed dish. Let me tell you guys, delicious.